There is a vast arid divide separating the heavy, rigid empire of Calormen in the south from the free green lands of Archenland and Narnia to the north. Down in a remote Calormen fishing village lives an 11-year-old boy named Shasta. He clearly doesn't fit in. While the local fishermen have dark hair and wear turbans, Shasta is fair-skinned and light-haired. He overhears a conversation that explains the discrepancy. His cruel guardian, who found him in a boat as an infant, is actively negotiating to sell him into slavery to a wealthy passing lord. But that lord's warhorse, Bree, harbors a secret. When Shasta approaches him in the dark, the animal speaks. Bree is a kidnapped Narnian, fully capable of human speech and desperate to escape. Shasta's mismatched appearance and Bree's stolen heritage provide a mutual objective. They have no ties to this southern empire, so they decide to break their chains and ride for a homeland they've only ever heard of. Their nighttime escape is violently interrupted when a massive lion stalks them through the dark brush, forcing Bree into a panicked, blind gallop. The pursuit drives them right into the path of two other runaways on the exact same trajectory, a girl named Aravis and her own talking horse, Hwyn. Aravis is a high-ranking Tarkina, escaping an arranged marriage to a wealthy lord, while Shasta is a foundling fleeing the threat of a common slave auction. Despite their friction, the four realize that surviving the journey requires cooperation. They agree to pool their resources and travel together. A highborn girl and an enslaved boy must now rely on one another. To survive the elements and evade capture, they have to reach the free north as a single unit. Their route forces them directly through the massive, heavily fortified capital city of Tashbaan. To get through, they have to dress in rags and move silently through the crowded streets. The plan falls apart when foreign royal guards spot Shasta. Look at this side-by-side comparison. Shasta shares the exact facial features, pale skin, and light hair of Prince Corin of Archenland, leading the guards to mistake him for their missing royal and drag him away. Meanwhile, Aravis finds herself hiding in a different part of the palace, where she quietly listens in on a covert war council led by the Calormen Prince Rabadash. Rabadash plans to take 200 elite horsemen, ride hard across the barren desert gap, and launch a surprise attack on Archenland before anyone knows they are coming. The stakes have shifted from individual survival to a race to save a kingdom. These four travelers are the only people aware of Rabadash's cavalry before it crosses the border. Reunited outside the city walls, the group pushes their mounts to the absolute limit, trekking across the blistering sand to outpace the cavalry. Reaching the grassy borders of Archenland, another enormous lion ambushes them, violently tearing into Aravis's back before she clears the stone boundary wall. Bleeding and exhausted, the horses and Aravis collapse at the home of a local hermit, completely incapable of moving another inch. This leaves Shasta with a choice: leave his only friends behind, push through his own physical exhaustion, and run the final miles on foot to find King Lune. The punishing desert crossing has stripped away all his support. The frightened boy who started this journey is the sole urgent lifeline for an entire kingdom. Shasta manages to intercept King Lune and his hunting party in the woods, delivering the intelligence just in time for the Archenland forces to retreat inside the castle of Anvard and lock the heavy gates. Rabadash arrives moments later. Realizing he's lost the element of surprise, he orders his men to batter down the wooden doors, initiating a desperate siege. But the delay gives the Narnian allied army time to arrive. They crest the ridge and crash into the Calormen flank, plunging the grounds outside the castle into a chaotic, fast-paced medieval battle. Trapped between the castle walls and the fresh Narnian troops, Rabadash and his 200 horsemen are completely overwhelmed and forced to surrender. The southern invasion is neutralized. With the physical threat handled, Attention turns to the boy whose timely warning made the victory possible, and the lingering mystery of his striking appearance. In the aftermath of the battle, King Lune pulls Shasta aside. He realizes that the boy's exact physical resemblance to Prince Corin is no coincidence. The truth finally surfaces. Shasta is actually Prince Corin's long-lost older twin brother, who was kidnapped and set adrift as an infant. Years ago, a centaur prophesied that this missing child would one day save Archenland from its deadliest threat. By running across the desert to deliver the warning, Cor fulfilled that exact prediction. In the fallout, Rabadash is magically transformed into a donkey to learn a hard lesson in humility. Cor and Aravis grow up sparring and eventually marry, while Bree and Hwyn live out their days freely in Narnia. The boy who started out as a powerless, abused slave was always the royal heir. But he didn't claim his crown through his bloodline alone. He earned it through sheer endurance, courage, and a grueling race across the desert.